So today we're going to do the plank, and we're going to do various types of plank. So the first plank we're going to do is the normal plank, and later we will adjust it to make it a little bit more difficult. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to put our hands on the floor, and we of course make sure we have our eagle's claw on our hands to protect the wrist, and then we're going to be vertically over our hands. And the shoulders, what we're going to do is we want to protract. Protract means to spread the shoulder blades. And this neck, we want to try to have a long neck push up, rather than have a shortened neck here or here. So they keep the neck neutral. So you don't want to pull the neck in, you want to lengthen this thing, okay, and spread. Next thing, we're going to get off our knees. And then the bum, you don't want the bum to be too high, so this bum is a bit too high. You have to tilt the bum down. At the same time, when you tilt the bum down, the stomach usually tends to go down as well like that, so we don't want to have that. So the stomach goes up, but the bum, you're going to tilt it down while you spread the thing. Okay? So the legs ideally be closed a little bit and squeeze the thighs together. Okay? And then here. Okay? So now it's a very nice position. If you find it too easy and you want to make it more difficult, you lean a little bit more forward. So this is called a planche plank here. So the more you lean forward, you'll find a little more stress on the wrist. So you need to engage your wrist more to protect the wrist. Okay? And everything in your body needs to engage more to be able to hold this position. So once you get to this position and you feel too tired because you lean far too forward, then they go back a little bit here, and this is so-called your rest period. Okay? And then you try to last for about 1 minute. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is what we call an extended plank. Now, extended plank is like a plank. Okay? So we start in a normal plank position. Okay? Normal plank position where your shoulders are directly over your hands. Now, extended plank means your hands will be far forward relative to your shoulders. So this is what you call an extended plank. So the more forward your hands can go, the more difficult it will be. Okay? Then the same thing, the position has to be protraction and your bum tilted down. Okay? So you find it too easy, you can always go more forward. You find it too difficult, you can always bring it a bit more closer. Okay? So this is called an extended plank. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is what we call the reverse plank. So the reverse plank is essential when you do a lot of planks because in the plank you're normally very protracted. We want to do the opposite action. So that's the reverse plank. Okay, so from here you put your hand behind. So your hand should be about roughly 45 degrees or so. You shouldn't be directly in this position. Okay, and then you're going to here raise the bum and try to push up the bum as high as you can. Now the shoulders you're going to retract. That means you're going to try to bring your shoulder blades together. So the shoulder blades are going to push up from the shoulder blades here. Okay, and here try to get your bum high. If you can find this easy, then you can straighten the legs here and keep your bum high as well. Now, if your bum sinks like this, your bum sinks, and you can only do this, then this is too difficult for you. You should be able to do it with the bum high. If your bum cannot be high, then I'd rather you bend your legs and have your bum high. So the priority is to get your bum to be high. Okay, so that is the reverse plank. Okay, so the next plank we're going to do is what we call a side plank. So the side plank can be done two ways, either on your elbow, if you've got problem with your wrist, or can be done on your hand. So we start with the elbow first. So elbow, you rest on your elbow, and then you raise your bum and legs off the ground. Okay, and your hand can be here, or it can be over here. Over here, the advantage is you will stretch your lats here. Okay, now if you find it too difficult to balance here, you can actually bend this leg in front and put it here. So this helps to make it a bit easier for you to balance. Okay, now if you find this easy, better to do it on the hands. So go and do it on the hands now. But again, once you do it on the hands, make sure you have your eagle's claw. And from here, you stretch out and then try to raise your bum as high as possible. Okay? Now, if you find this easy, you can lower a bit and then come up. So you do that for reps. But do it at a very slow and controlled pace. So this will work your obliques a bit more with movement. And then try to have a more stretch over here. So when you're in this position at the extreme, you're like stretching this side. Okay? And go down. Okay, done? Okay, so this is the side plank. So then we can do the same for the other side as well. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is what we call the hollow body hold. So you're going to lie down on your chest, on your back. And you're going to raise your arms and legs. So you start with bent legs first. Okay? Here. And then the hands can be forward. Okay? Now the priority is the lower back here must have no gap. You must press the lower back down. So here you can imagine someone pushing your stomach down so that it doesn't come up and create an arch. So there'll be no arch of the back. And here you want to have the shoulders as high as you can, okay, off the ground. Okay? So try to have this sort of partial sit-up kind of position. Okay? Now, if you feel it easy, you can actually bring your arms back. But once you start to arch in your back, that means it's too difficult for you. Then you bring your legs here. Let's say, for example, in this position, you find, I cannot hold this position anymore, or begin to arch, then you bring your legs in. Okay? But when you bring your legs in, you try not to bring your legs too high. You try to have your feet skimming the ground, so go forward. Notice the feet are almost the same distance from the ground here. Okay, so you try not to bring the legs up into this position. Bring it here, and then we'll bring it up here. Okay, so that's the hollow body hold. So the next plank we're going to do is not really a plank, but it's similar, but it's called a Superman hold. So lie down on your chest, and then you're going to raise your arms and your legs. Okay, so here you want to think of extending, pushing, okay? And then lengthening. So you think of somebody pulling you from the arms and pulling you from the legs, trying to make yourself long. Now some people do it this way. They try to raise as high as possible. Try to raise as high as possible. Higher, higher, higher. Okay? But you do this, you get a lot of compression in back. So some people have back trouble, when they do it high, they tend to have back compression, and that generally doesn't work so well for people with back trouble. So here we don't think so much of being high. As long as your feet and legs are just off the ground is good enough. You don't want to be very high, but think of lengthening. Okay? And the hands, you want it can be higher without having the chest to be higher. So that helps to work on the shoulder extension ability as well. Okay? So that is the Superman hold.